You're listening to
Remember that. Everyone, welcome to Remember That. This is a podcast takeover. I almost actually thought of playing the Stone Cold Steve Austin theme song, and like me and Maddie started, and then you guys just came in.
We come in.
Yeah.
Stunner
You stunner both of us,
right.
and you're like,
Put on your headphones.
Yeah, 100%. But we are so excited to welcome Pat and Barry from the Blockblunders podcast.
Hello.
Welcome.
Oh my God. Everyone, please calm down.
Now, I should tell you, you guys had me on Blockblunders recently.
Yeah.
I had the best time. Since I was on that episode, Maddie listened to it, and
So
she, for days, was being like, I want to play.
Yeah. We'll get you on. We'll absolutely get you on.
She was so excited, and she was even like sending me like, oh, have you seen this movie and all this stuff? And I'm like, I'm not in control of who they book. Okay, like I don't.
There was me thinking, I'm like, we're both going to be on next week. Like, we've got to lock a movie down.
And I have to say, that was the plan from day one, and then Danny just cut you off at the heels.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I do love, it's such an interesting way to look at, because like you start being like, well, what movie haven't I seen, right?
Yeah.
So that's our thing, is we guess the plot of films we've never seen.
Yes, please tell. Yes, for those who don't know, can you? And you're about to do it, and I've interrupted you. I'm so sorry.
No.
What do you?
Let
tell
him
us about
speak,
Blockblunders.
Yeah, so it's just a comedy podcast. We guess the plot of movies we haven't seen. Either I'll do it, or Pat will do it, or we'll have a guest on like Danny and soon to be Maddie.
Yeah.
And they'll guess the plot of a film that we've seen. It's just a stupid. We're just making up things as we go.
And congratulations on 100 episodes recently, which is awesome.
Very impressive.
You did your own.
It's 100 episodes of just like, it's not as if like it grows any larger. Like, it's like, yeah, we've done this thing for 100 episodes.
It's mainly just reflecting the amount of time we've put into it, really. 100 weeks. And we've done a few two-parter episodes. So it's more like 104 or something.
Yeah, we're actually sitting at a few more
best
episodes.
not to think about. Best not to. It was, the bit at the end of Saving Private Ryan where Matt Damon just suddenly ages to the age of like 90 years old. That's what doing the 100th episode felt like.
But and we were keen to get you guys on, and then we thought of the idea of like, oh my gosh, let's mash this up together.
Yeah, proper crossover.
Because Maddie really wanted to play.
Mostly me.
Yes.
This is a soft pitch for coming on the actual. We'll see how you go here, Maddie, and then we'll decide whether.
It's like the interview.
It's not. I don't want that air.
But what we're going to do is we are in the theme of 90s nostalgia, and we have in the recent weeks been talking about cartoons.
Awesome.
We grew up with.
My favorite part of the 90s.
We're going to play the Blockblunders game.
Yeah.
Which you guys should make a board game.
Oh my God, yeah,
The
it really
Blockblunders
should
game.
be. Yeah.
But
They have a board
90s
game
cartoons.
called Blockbuster, and it's like you guess movies based on, and you have to have categories. We could do the same thing, but you guess movies.
I do think we will start to run into licensing issues there.
Our logo is already
It's
Borderline.
It's not even borderline. It is. We used the Blockbuster logo.
It's what they call in IP law a slam dunk of a case, I think. They call it a...
The only reason we haven't been sued is because we don't make enough money.
That's their.
Of course. I did wonder where I'd seen it. Looks really familiar.
Yeah, it does look very similar. Yeah.
So
Some would say it's a different blue.
Yeah, you did one
did a different-
decibel. Different.
Yeah, the blue is copyrighted.
So before we jump into that, just to keep it on the theme and bring you on to our podcast, what defined your childhood? What did Pat and Barry as kids look like?
Oh, I mean, I know, video games definitely links to, I played a lot of World of Warcraft, but I actually, I talked to you about this before a little bit, and trampolines were a big thing of my childhood. I had a trampoline in every house I went to.
Yeah.
My cousins all had trampolines. We wrestled on the trampolines. We did, I don't think there was a family gathering where a cousin didn't end up with a bleeding nose. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Maddie,
Classic.
please share with Barry your sister's experience with trampolines.
Oh, she was obsessed with my little sister. I was obsessed with the trampoline. Every time she came home from school, she'd spend hours just on the trampoline. And then she'd, teach herself tricks flips and stuff. She fell off once and broke her arm.
Yeah.
That didn't stop.
Yeah,
her.
no, that's just a bump in the road.
That was what I refer.
Bounce one
That
arm.
I was
Yeah.
referring to was she broke her arm, got put in a cast, and then the next day was jumping on the trampoline.
Yeah.
She taught us how to
got
do
to.
one arm, like cartwheels and stuff on the tram.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was jumping on the couch and I fell off and I hit my arm and it broke. And I started crying and my mum came and checked on me and was like, oh, well, everything, he seems fine now, just hurt his arm. And I started jumping on the couch again with a fully broken arm.
Wow.
And it wasn't until my dad came home and saw me jumping on the couch and said, why does Pat have two elbows
You're there jumping like
in one arm? Yeah, he saw me just
ow.
jumping there with my left arm just going
Just limp,
absolute
like-
crazy. I was like fully, I guess, like shock had kicked in. You know what I mean? I was just enjoying the ride. But no, for me, it's definitely video games. I'm a child of the later 90s, of the 2000s. I was born in 96, but I've got two older brothers, and the majority of my childhood memories are tied in with, like, I taught myself to read quite early so I could play computer games, like type in the DOS command to load in a game.
We were reading Selby Secrets, and you're reading like the back of the freaking Legend of Zelda.
Literally. The excitement that I would get as a kid from reading a game manual on the drive home from EB Games to play it.
Sweet,
I was not a World of Warcraft kid, but I played a lot of Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
That I was
StarCraft?
obsessed with. Yeah, StarCraft. We had StarCraft on the Nintendo 64, which in retrospect is an insane way to play
that's
that
not
game.
good.
It
That's
is-
crazy.
Yeah.
And
That's
also
not
the
good.
already like modest graphics of StarCraft 1
Yeah.
put through a Nintendo 64 system.
Yeah.
You'd select a Marine and it'd be like, like it was you could not understand a fucking word he was saying.
You can't see anything.
There
Yeah.
were no cutscene, like the cutscenes
there
were
was no
completely. They were
cutscenes.
just so fried that you could not
Oh, God.
receive what was happening.
Who made that decision?
It's crazy.
That's not a good port, you know?
and just
got
other
to,
memories
you
of
got
like not being able to touch the TV for like a whole summer holidays because my brother was playing through all of Final Fantasy 8.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we didn't have a PlayStation 1 memory card, so we couldn't save it. So he just couldn't. He was like, "You can't touch the TV."
And that's so iconic. That not turning off the thing because you don't have a memory card, you haven't brought it, and you're like, I'm not losing my.
And that
Can we swear on this pod? Is that?
yeah,
Okay.
it's got like 4 discs.
Yeah.
It's a fucking long game.
Yeah.
Wait, so when he finished a disc, could you then
Apparently,
touch the
you could.
TV?
I would have thought no, because he would have to immediately transfer it over
God.
without turning the game
no, that's
off.
right, because it says
Insert next disc.
insert next disc.
You have
It's kind of
5
a
minutes.
holding.
Yeah.
There's a holding screen.
And it still
Yeah,
needs to
awesome.
save all the, like, even though you're in the second chapter of the game, it still needs to have all the detail of where your characters were at the end of the first chapter.
Why?
So you still can't save it. We just didn't have a PS1 memory card.
Why
we only,
did you not just buy a memory card?
money doesn't
Mum and
grow on
Dad,
trees.
yeah. Mum and
I'm
Dad's not going to
sorry.
waste their money on that.
Oh, I'll just buy
You
a
just
memory
leave the
card.
TV on, and for all I care.
Jesus Christ, must be nice. Must be nice living in
Lucky
this
you've
place.
got a Nintendo at this
Yeah.
point.
No, we'll just rack up thousands of dollars in energy bills from keeping a PlayStation 2 running for like a month straight so you can finish the most incomprehensible story in video game history. I think he beat it. Yeah, it's still it's like it's his favorite Final Fantasy. I was a Final Fantasy 10 boy myself.
Yeah, right. Not
But-
7?
No, we never played 7.
That's crazy.
That's too many.
Because we
There's
never
like
had
15.
a PS1, so this was only the PS2 that we could play the 8th one on.
Right,
And we just never got because once 8 came out, it's like if you went backwards to 7, they're all the little it looks like shit, you know? They're all
Yeah.
the little
Yeah,
whereas
yeah,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy 8 still had like characters were like they were not chibi, you know, they were like full.
Yeah.
It looked
And
cooler.
then 9, they kind of split the difference between the two.
Yeah, it was like
two, I think.
cartoonish. We
Yeah,
never
yeah,
played that one
Yeah.
and we just upgraded straight to 10.
Look,
Which rules.
I thought I was escaped from Final Fantasy chat.
No.
Yeah.
Didn't
wow.
happen. Didn't happen.
Apparently,
It's been spoken about a lot.
I'm sure.
I have never played them, so
thank
don't
God.
worry. You've got. I'm with you
That's
here.
why I'm looking at
we
you,
can have
Barry.
our own
I'm like-
podcast. We'll start
like, let's
talking
just
about.
put a screen
Yeah.
up between
Yeah.
these two.
We just record 2 podcasts
Yeah,
at the same
yeah.
time. It's the most unlistenable thing.
No. This is getting split.
Yeah, left
great.
ear one, right ear the other.
Before we go on, I just have to ask for my own selfish.
Yeah.
MS-DOS games. Which ones?
I probably the actual names of them I can barely remember, but we played a lot of Commander Keen. Any Apogee game or those little platformer ones.
Any LucasArts ones?
We had. I was a big Grim Fandango guy, but I think that was an MS-DOS. I'm pretty sure that was on CD.
No. It was LucasArts though. Yeah.
Yes, but no, none of the pirate, Monkey Pirate.
No, Monkey Island,
no,
Sam and
no.
Max.
No, was that Heroes?
Well, thanks for coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe I can leave if you guys want to just.
We're about to go.
I've self-indulged.
I love how quiet we were. Literally just were like, we have nothing
we
to eat.
gave each other looks
I'm checking in like, are these still games?
Blockblunders, now hosted by Danny and Maddie.
Remember that now with Patton.
Now with Patton, and we never address it.
That's right. It just swaps.
Okay, so let's dive in. So the two,
I'm excited.
The two
Me
shows
too.
that we've done, we thought we'd do one each because we're essentially going to set up. We're going to guess, I guess, a little bit of the outline of the show, but then also just the pilot, what happens in the first episode. Yeah. We figured because of that length, that's going to end be one of your episodes.
Yeah.
I do want to say, and you will understand why after.
Oh, right, for the cast list, right?
No.
I'm going to stop trying to guess what people are going to say.
No. But we would like you guys to go first.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Sounds good.
Yeah. You will understand why
I was prepared
after.
to go first.
Okay,
Oh, cool.
great. So
we're coming in with the experience.
yes. So the shows that we're doing, so Blockblunders are doing Animals of Farthing Wood.
The Animals of Farthing
The
Wood.
Animals
Please
of
get the
Farthing
title
Wood.
Excuse
correct.
me, sorry.
And we are doing Street Sharks. So
Yes.
Barry,
Jawsome.
Pat, tell us, did you have any knowledge of the Animals of Farthing Wood?
No.
I had truly never heard of this. And apparently based on a book series, just never heard of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm working purely off a poster here.
Yeah.
Of a bunch of vaguely concerned looking animals looking over the hill.
Yeah.
So I feel like, without getting too much into what we predicted for it, I feel like I've seen things that are of this vibe, which to me just looks like the various concerns and a bunch of concerned looking animals and one frog that I'm going to be putting very much into this plot because he has the dumbest fucking expression on his face.
Yeah, he does.
The frog doesn't look like he's helping much.
I mean,
Because the fox and the badger, they really look like they're on to things.
yeah.
They all look so sad, and then there is a frog who looks like he looks like from Billy Madison when Billy Madison sees the penguin, and he's just kind of vaguely waving at the penguin, and he's hallucinating in a way that's insane.
He does have like the distant eyes of someone on LSD.
Yeah.
I just realized I didn't, it was funny. I did it, and you're right. They all look concerned.
They all look so
but the frog's
sad.
like,
It's like they got someone else in at the last second to draw the frog into it, like a different artist.
The frog wasn't
He
there.
looks like a different style from the others. They all look vaguely realistic, and then this frog.
They were photoshopping them all in, and
Yeah.
they said, "Well, hang on, we haven't got the frog." And he comes in, and he goes, "Oh shit, I think I misread the brief. I am so sorry."
Yeah.
Is the frog important? Like, damn, we need that frog in there. Oh, okay, all right, hang on, I can do something.
Exactly. So, as the viewer, my eye was immediately drawn to the frog, and I think
that's interesting.
the collaborative plot that we will do, I think, will reflect that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we watched it last night,
Okay.
and we watched a bit of an outline as well. Maddie had seen it.
I have as
I
a
had,
kid. Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
not.
The full 6-disc set.
Well,
And the following up, The Animals of Farthing Wood Return Home.
for God's sake.
Is that what you oh, wow, Barry's research.
I just went to the right, and that's what I'm seeing here.
Wow.
Ooh.
Oh,
And the frog is
Once
a
again,
big feature.
Journey home.
An insane looking frog who seems to have grown about 10 times in size since the first
Art
edition.
quality kind of dipped. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
From the first one to the
I'm
second.
wondering if these are two separate adaptations of
I
the
think
source
so.
material.
I think so.
Yeah. Sorry,
But I get a vibe that this is Lassie, but for all the critters of the woods. Like
interesting.
they are a sentient group surge of animals.
And it also, to me, really speaks like Watership Down. Like these are animals
haven't seen Watership
responding. That's the movies about bunny rabbits that are fleeing essentially human expansion human,
This is a real. I see what you mean. Yeah.
So
Like
to me,
pushing
these animals, what they're looking at over the horizon, in my mind, is golf course.
I love that. Yeah,
wow.
Donald Trump's golf course.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Specifically Trump.
I do think it is literally, you can see Mar-a-Lago in the distance. It is specifically Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. I think so. It's gold. It's all gilded. There's a giant toupee on top of it.
And considering his reaction, I think our only assumption is that the frog is a trumper.
The frog is. That's right. He's excited to go to the course, and they're all like, "Oh no!" And he's like, "Oh, the back nine is actually pretty good." Really?
He says what we're all thinking.
I hope they do something about those immigrants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it's all.
Wow.
I love it.
The other animals kind of just put up with him.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess that's should we do we go straight into
Yeah,
it?
Jump
go.
in,
So
please.
we start. Maybe they do the groundbreaking of the golf course.
Yeah, I think we start off with a very serene sort of forest
Beautiful
environment.
forest, yeah.
We have everyone, looks like a good spring this year. Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
all the
absolutely.
critters are putting their differences aside and hanging out with the fox that usually slaughters them and eats them.
Yeah.
They're all hanging out like buds now because spring there's so many other animals to eat. You're not going to eat anyone here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get a little bit, because there's also a sneaky sort of snake guy
There is
at
a
the
snake,
bottom.
yeah.
And I think maybe we get like an early thing of a snake trying to go after one of the rabbits and the rabbit running away,
very
but it's
cute.
not like that high stakes,
Yeah.
even though
It's
he's
just for
ostensibly going
fun.
to try
It
and
was
kill and
just
eat
a
him.
joke. It was a
This
bit
is
of a-
just the forest working as it should.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the snake kind of like, when it fails its attack on the rabbit, it just coils up and joins the conversation, and
Yeah,
everyone's
exactly.
like, cool
It's
with
just
that.
this is just the
Okay.
forest. This
Yeah.
is
It's
the
another
lore
way
of the
of things.
forest.
Is the snake like, oh, sorry about that? Or
Yeah.
like, I was joking.
Yeah.
Like,
The snake's like, lucky you'll be another snack next time.
Yes, exactly.
okay, yeah, I like this character. I like this character.
Yeah. We all know how snakes talk in animated movies.
Yeah.
That's how they do it.
I was looking for an S word. Lucky didn't match the bill.
And I think then we get a little critter, maybe a field mouse, maybe a maybe
I like a field mouse.
a
Let's
field
go with
mouse
that.
Yeah.
running in and saying, monster, and everyone's going, what are you talking about? They say, I saw a giant, as big as a. I was about to say house, but they don't know,
As big as 7 trees.
Exactly.
It's like American units.
It's
of
like a
measurement.
tree had come to life and was attacking, and everyone's like, "You fucking idiot! There's no. What are you talking about?"
The snakes, yeah.
Yeah.
Silly rat.
There you go.
Everyone, we're getting around. It's in that 70s show when they have the weed smoking thing and we get the circle camera.
The circle.
Yeah. It's revolving around and all the animals go, you fucking idiot, you stupid mouse. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Monsters aren't real. But we then get introduced to who's got to be our hero, the fox.
Oh, I think the fox. And do you think the fox and the badger are a duo?
I think the badger, to me, that looks like a mother badger. She seems to have a little baby badger on her head.
Oh, she does.
So I think she's like, a community leader. I
like
but
that.
I think our hero and protagonist is this fox.
The fox is a renegade.
Who, let's face it, he's hot. He's a hot. The way they've drawn his face.
You know what?
This is a classic.
He's got a really defined
Yeah.
Yeah,
jawline.
he's a
Like,
hot fox.
let's not pretend that furries just sprung up from a hole in the ground. Furries came from 80s and 90s cartoons where they had hot
animals.
dog-related animals.
Yeah.
Can I ask, is the fox being hot
Mm-hmm.
part of the storyline, do you think?
I think they just hired a really hot fox.
Yeah.
I think it's just a lucky
So
casting.
it isn't like, there's no moments of other characters being like, fucking hell.
No, I think it's never a driving force of the plot.
Yeah.
But there are often a beat after each scene he's in.
They
where
look to
characters
him.
will be like, Christ. like
Every now and
I've
then-
seen him from a distance before, but Jesus Christ. You see his eyebrows? You see his jawline? He looks like a fucking Rizzler. Like
It's every now and then the fox does something really cool and heroic, and a rabbit's just biting its little paw.
Yeah. I mean, it's spring in the forest.
my-
you know.
yeah.
Half these animals are in heat.
Spring
We
indeed.
see
The rabbit keeps talking to the camera.
We see a lot of like half fox, half like there's like a half. It's disturbing.
And
Yeah,
never
you're right.
addressed.
Yeah.
So it's very much implied through
Yeah.
this offspring that
Yeah,
this fox is fucking.
He's
That,
got-
that
Fox
owl
gets
does
around.
look like it has a bit of fox in him. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah. But he's the only one who's like, I think there might be something to this. Let's check it out. And scouts.
And no one goes against the fox.
Yeah,
Everyone's
yeah.
like, as soon as the fox
whatever you
is
say.
like,
What did you say? I was just looking at your lips move.
oh
you know,
my
they were-
god! I
they
think
were
we
not
have
even-
to trust him,
Yeah.
guys. And the mouse is there, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
yeah, cooling
Maddie-
themselves down.
Maddie fanning her
That's the
face.
snake. The snake starts hissing.
And they take a look over the hill past the pasture kind of thing,
Yeah.
and they see like what the little field mouse was talking about was like a
crane or
yeah,
like,
exactly,
like
it's something with a
Megatron
wrecking
moving things
ball,
around, yeah.
a digger probably.
A digger.
I know
Digger,
you don't
yeah.
like knock over a hill with a wrecking ball. I guess they're mainly made for man-made structures that are already there.
Well, I don't know. Miley Cyrus has something to say. She'll
But
bring
yeah,
anything
a
down.
big excavator
Hell
just
yeah.
tearing through a hillside.
Something my nephew would like to drive.
yeah.
Yeah. I love this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he
They're
runs
clearing
back
forest, they're
and they
cutting down
say,
trees.
and it's that like these sort of stories they always have, they have the dumb ways that animals refer to human inventions. Like they don't
Oh,
say,
yeah.
they don't say it's a
Yeah.
car. They say it's like, oh, it's a thunder bear or
Yeah,
something.
definitely, of course,
I'm not.
yeah.
That shit's not happening in this one.
Oh.
The fox is saying they have an excavator. Like, it's
So the fox is not only hot, he's smart.
He's
too.
intelligent.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
I
what
mean,
we
that's
learn
part
is-
of his charm.
What we learn is the field mouse was not interpreting the human world through the naivety of an animal's mind. The field mouse is just a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
He goes, it's not a
He's dumb,
monster.
he's
It's like a
ugly,
diesel-powered excavator.
Yeah, he's not.
He
got-
knows the name of the model.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
TB33.
Yeah.
The mouse has no charisma
That
at
is,
all.
this is a Yamaha fucking...
No capacity to understand the human the ways of
You
humans.
guys hate this mouse.
This mouse,
field
this
mouse.
is
Poor
well. No,
mouse.
the writers of this show hate this mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fox goes kind of like, what do we know about this? No, we did not, like, no one heard anything about the humans
I
expanding.
think
Yeah.
this is like they call it a council meeting. They're gonna
Yeah,
have
exactly,
they have
exactly.
like a bush.
Yeah.
This is a council meeting in the forest,
Okay.
and there's a and it goes. Did anyone know about this one? And that's when we get
Was that the frog?
silence hits the clearing that they're in.
I can't. The frog comes in. Yeah. I first saw it in the swamp.
Yeah,
Oh, he's like a
He's a mystic,
He's
I think,
mystic
right?
Yeah.
frog. Right.
Lick from me, and we'll all see a vision.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. So they can get high off this
yeah.
frog.
Kind of
He's
voodoo.
always got a distant look in his eyes. He's kind of stumbling around. And they're
Right.
like, wait, let's hear him out. The fox says this, obviously, because otherwise no one would listen.
Yeah.
And then they lick the frog.
Wow. So they get high off the
Yeah,
frog.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's a spiritual journey.
Yeah,
This is-
yeah, yeah.
no
This
need
is
to
a-
lower it. to
This is
just-
a poisonous frog living in like England. This is, you know those frogs in England that have hallucinogenic
Yeah,
properties.
absolutely. Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
It's one of
yeah.
those.
Well, this frog does.
Yeah.
I mean, look at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, a couple of the bunnies get into it. The owl gives it a lick. They all disrobe and start dancing around the fire.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And in the flames,
Yeah.
Oh.
they see the structural. The points of the structure
Yeah.
that are weakest,
Yeah.
and then the toads, they're like, the C4 goes here.
Oh.
So they
That's what I'm
get
thinking.
visions of and not only structural weaknesses.
Yeah.
Are we
but
still
like,
in the pilot, or is?
Yeah,
or,
yeah, this is the pilot.
Yeah,
So
well,
this is
like
setting
10
up
minutes
what
or
the
so.
show is going to be about.
This is like, yeah, because we still haven't gotten to when
Yeah.
they take down the
go on,
establishment.
And not only are we getting structural weaknesses, we're getting like the psychological, like we're getting like the foreman's having a tough time with his wife.
Oh,
like
true.
the places that they can hit to weaken
Emotional
this whole
spots.
operation.
So we
you know?
hear the inner workings of the humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay.
So
Cool.
this is the beginning of essentially like a guerrilla warfare.
yeah.
And I guess
Against
that's our
the
first season then, right? It's like a
Yeah,
that continues
exactly.
through. It's
And
like
so for the rest of
fox
this
is gonna try and
episode-
fuck the foreman.
yeah, exactly.
And he succeeds.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Of course,
Barry,
yeah.
he doesn't need to try.
That's right. Yeah, he's a humble fox though. That's how he says it. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
look,
yeah.
I'll try.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my
Whips his
God.
like
Yeah.
little
All right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The breeze always hits him just right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this first episode is them trying to take down the actual excavator, and they succeed at the end. But the kind of end of the episode leading on to the rest of the series is, oh, this is only the beginning. Like we've taken down this excavator, took everything we had, we
Right.
made little explosives out of nuts and twigs and all this shit. We like
The frog taught them how.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We had squirrels chewing through the cords and like
Wow.
holding up the wrecking ball and stuff like that.
That's great.
And then at the end, it's the kind of thing where they think they've destroyed, and they're like, yeah, and then they just reel in like 5 more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
We get shadowy figure of the corporate executive behind the expansion.
Oh, I love this.
You know,
Yeah.
a very kind of Dr. Claw, like next time, Animals of Farthing Wood, next
sure.
time.
Okay. So they're aware that this is the animals fucking
I
with
think
us.
so.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Those damn animals, and then that's why they can't get any more funding, because they're like, stop trying to blame the animals.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think that's
think
that's
the
our
pilot,
pilot
right?
of Animals of Farthing Wood.
Can I just
Yeah.
Thank you. About.
I love it.
How
Yeah.
close were we?
okay.
The beginning, not bad, guys.
Beginning started off
Yeah.
good, right? That's usually how these things go.
I will.
There was some
Yeah.
Something
points.
happens when we start doing these, especially when we do them together, where we know
We get
what
it
we're
really
doing
right.
is wrong, but we can't stop.
But
No.
here's the thing,
Yeah.
right? Is actually a lot of that was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know what? I prefer your version.
I do.
Thank
I
you.
do.
Thank you. We
I
did
do.
pitch
Yep.
this when they were coming out.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So okay.
they weren't ready.
when you were 6.
That's
yeah.
right. Well, that's why it sounds so fucking crazy.
So all right. Shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about the episode.
Okay.
First of all, the fox is hot. Let's,
Yeah.
Let's get that out. Let's get it out.
Yeah.
The fox is really attractive.
It's
There's a
static-
reason Maddie watched this show as a kid,
Yeah.
and it was for that hot
How deep
fox.
is the fox's
For the hot
voice?
fox.
Is
Yeah.
it like Barry White deep, or
They
is
all
it?
have really weird voices.
It's a British show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all. Yeah, there is a bit of that. There is a bit of that.
There is.
Now, so here's the thing. I'm trying to work out like where to start.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because there's a lot of different angles about the Animals of Farthing Wood.
Yeah.
Do you want me to dive in, Maddie?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so everything that you guys said is pretty spot on to the fact that this is animals. They are noticing
The changes around their environment.
they're noticing the humans moving, not only moving in their territory. There is a digger.
Hell yeah, of course there is.
And they call them earth movers. That's their name
that's
for them.
not bad.
Yeah.
That's not like
Pretty
pretty like.
accurate.
Well,
Now-
yeah, that's what they do.
Now,
That be what they
That's what
do.
it's doing. Yeah.
what actually happens in this show, I feel like could have been someone's pitch on Blockblunders if you did the Animals of Farthing Wood.
Yeah.
Because what actually happens is fucking insane.
Right.
It
I
is.
will say
They
that
tear the throat out of someone, right?
I mean,
when you look back on this is probably one of the most disturbing kids
shit.
shows
It's
in
fucked
history.
up.
That
Oh,
makes
shit.
like Watership Down. That rings true to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
always this
it's-
shit.
It does
It's-
not have that vibe from the cover. It looks
you'd
very
never
sweet.
know.
You would never know. So essentially, your pilot version is so much more fleshed out. Yes, they do have
It's more detailed.
There's more detail. More stuff.
A lot more
happens.
happens
Whoa,
in
yeah.
yours. Yeah.
The first couple of minutes,
Because we don't have to jam it into a 30-minute.
That's right. So the first couple of minutes of the show is not the field mouse noticing. It's actually the frog.
It is
Oh.
the frog.
The frog has a
Of
vision.
course.
And so the frog is hopping,
Yeah.
sees the things, and then
he's running away from the
he's
digger.
running away from the digger, and
Yeah.
then
The digger
Crushes
scoops him up
and
and dumps him.
Oh my God.
A stone falls on top.
Oh my
like
God.
a symbolic
sig-
gravestone.
like a symbolic
Oh, he
gravestone.
does.
Like he's dead.
Well,
okay.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I don't want to get ahead.
No. It's okay. So then,
That's why, because he's a ghost. That's why his eyes
Yeah.
are so distant.
Well, he might be actually.
yes, there is a council meeting
Yeah.
of
There
the
has to
Woodland
be.
Creek.
Call
Yeah,
a
on a
council
stump
meeting.
But
And, yeah.
No, it's not on a stone.
Oh, shit.
and this is the weird thing
Fuck.
is
It's at a Marriott.
Close.
the majority of the episode
Trump Towers.
is the animals trying to organize the council meeting.
Yeah.
But the animals are arguing. They're going, okay, so it's the badger going, okay, we're going to come down and we're going to have the meeting in
At
my
my
little
place.
mound.
Yeah.
Oh my
No,
god.
the owls-
in his den.
In his den.
Underground.
And the owls are like, we don't want to go underground. We fly. That's ridiculous.
I
This
see.
is like
There is
corporate bullshit, like trying to
Literally.
organize
It's like
a
this
meeting.
literally
Star
no
Wars
one-
prequel where it just falls too much
Literally.
into organization.
The actual
Yeah.
logistics
Yeah.
of just getting to the meeting. I'm not joking. Is most of the
So
episode.
long.
Yeah. Are we going to
Most
carpool? Are we going to?
literally,
Yeah.
literally.
They've got
I
to
see.
they've got to establish the many different character types of the animals.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
yes.
how they fly and
The
whether they
birds,
don't.
the birds are late, and they throw a casually sexist joke, going, "Oh, sorry, you know what
course.
women are like. This she couldn't get ready in
They
time."
actually
Nice,
did do
nice.
that.
Good
Yeah.
gear.
It's
Good
crazy
gear.
because it's the male birds that have to pamper themselves. Oh, so it's like it's
See,
such
that would have been good
it's
if
an
they'd gone, you
insane-
know what guys are like here, to do a mating dance for like 8 minutes.
That would have
Yeah.
been way better.
There you go. And then they go into
Eventually.
the den. They do.
They
have
go to
to
the den. They go for Badger's den.
They end
which
up
I'm
going
guessing
to
is the
Badger's
first
den.
pitch too.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Well, Badger's
Yeah.
like, well, I don't care. We're having it at my place.
Yeah, literally.
And the
He's
owl's
like-
like, no one's going to want to go there.
that's
and he's
such
like,
a
I
Karen
don't
move.
care.
I don't know what to say.
There's so many
We're
arguments.
like, why don't you just have it in a field?
I know. But like
Where we all are now.
Dude, we were literally looking at it. Them still trying to organize this meeting, and we were like 6 minutes,
It's 6 minutes
7
in.
minutes, 8 minutes, like
And the show's
just
only
scene
20.
after scene of just like, no, you have to come to my house. I'm sorry, that's where we're doing it.
Yeah.
That's where we're doing it.
They
Like,
go to bed, they
guys,
come
time
back.
is of the essence. Like, your woods are being wiped
Yeah,
out.
I
Frog is
know.
dead.
Like,
The frog is dead.
so the frog comes back.
Okay.
Nice.
awesome.
He survived.
Jesus frog.
Yeah.
And then there is a scene where they have to tell the snake not to eat the rabbit.
Boom.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a moment where they're like, you can't.
I love
eat the
it
rabbit.
when that happens to the guests, or like when we're guessing a thing where you just guess the exact thing because you're like,
Yeah.
of course that
Yes.
happens.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course the snake eats something.
But they do it for every animal. They're like, okay, we're
The hawk,
calling a
the-
treaty.
Yes.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
one's allowed to eat anyone.
This was actually a cool one thing that I want.
Owl
That's
takes
cool.
off
Was
with
they
the-
had to bring up this thing that's been handed down for generations. Whenever their entire existence is under threat,
Okay.
they have to call a truce and work together.
Sure.
So I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of a cool law. I did like that. They were
Yeah,
like,
they
no, we're
addressed
bringing it.
it.
And they all had to recite this.
Where's the bear? the bear's
But
not
also,
signing this agreement.
also before like industrial society, when were they using this treaty? Were like Romans like starting like fucking them over? What was happening? When did this come up?
The ancient civilizations of people
Yeah.
were far more advanced than we give them credit for. They were
I guess so.
deforesting
Oh yeah,
Oh,
this
yeah.
lost
on a
society.
huge scale.
Yeah,
Of
hunting and blah blah. But yeah, so they had to recite a pledge.
Yes.
Oh.
Recite a pledge.
And the
Yep.
snake was reluctant.
Yeah.
yeah.
The snake was like,
really
I
reluctant.
don't know about this.
There's not enough S's in this
Really sassy snake.
statement.
Now, for anybody who's interested in watching the Animals of Farthing Wood, we're about to spoil basically the entire show.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I do want to tell you guys about the depressing and very grim and disturbing and traumatic
Yeah.
elements.
They die
of
one
this
by
show.
one. Is this?
Yeah.
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 I'm guessing this is a
They
story where they
literally-
like pump the gas on environmental issues.
Literally,
Yeah.
these characters, not just side characters that you fall in love with.
Fuck, you don't telling me the fox dies.
He does.
Yeah.
Wait, does he?
No,
His son dies.
Yeah.
Oh, who gives a shit?
Okay, you got heaps of those.
He's
Who gives a
fucking.
shit?
You got children
So I'm gonna,
on children.
if it's okay, I'm gonna read you some of the deaths.
Oh,
Yeah,
try,
please do.
yeah, please.
Toad's family dried up in the sun after their pond was destroyed.
That's a grim
Straight
start.
away, that's awful.
Oh, this is wrong. Oh, yes.
This is wrong.
The hedgehogs
I
run
agree,
over
it is
by a truck because they were too scared to cross the road.
The-
So
Yeah.
there's a
That's their own
scene where
fault.
all of
Sorry.
the animals,
You got to cross.
all
Yeah.
of the
It's
animals
like
are
Vietnam.
crossing.
There's
Yeah.
a husband and wife hedgehog.
Yeah. And he's like, he freezes up and he's like, I'm too scared to move. And she goes, "Ugh," and decides to go back and die with him.
Oh, that's fucked up.
It is fucked up.
Yeah.
You get
Damn.
run over by a truck
Yeah.
and you see it.
And you do it, and
There's
you like
blood in
your
this, you
husband like
guys.
brings you back to. You're like, no, I want to be with you in death.
Yes.
The fox's rival, there's one called Scarface, and he is
He's like another fox.
He's an ugly
another
fox.
fox.
Yeah, right.
He's
and
kind of
he-
the antagonist.
He kills some of the characters.
Dude,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
And
Why?
Doesn't swear to the
the
treaty.
fox was like the
The
hot
Treaty's void.
Hot Fox is like, right,
Fox.
that's it.
Hot Fox.
We are we're battling to the death.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Fucks him up, decides not to kill him,
Yeah.
but the snake.
How do they fight?
Oh, like
It's like,
fighting.
okay, yeah. It's not
grabbing
like
it.
they get on their
Yeah, no, that would be great.
Like normal fox fighting. Yeah.
But the snake wants, even though he decides, he goes, no, I'm not going to lower to his level. I'm not going to kill him.
Oh.
Lets him go, and then he's licking his wounds near the pond, like all this stuff. But the snake, because in a previous episode had her tail bitten off by this rival fox, went, no, I'm going to take my opportunity. And
Snake mode. Yeah, good.
bites him, poisons him to death.
Good.
Damn.
Good.
The most fucked up, I think. We just watched a video of it was a grim
Top 10,
it
Watch
was a
Mojo,
grim
top
night.
10 most tragic
Like,
animal in
actually.
Farthing
It
Wood
was
deaths.
some guy literally that did this.
That's probably
This
fine
is
for a
probably
mentally.
Rated the
the
death.
most fucked up one.
Every
Yeah.
gruesome death.
There are two birds that are in this, right?
Pheasants.
They have to go and rescue the snake.
That's not...
But
yeah.
the wife
safe
goes
for
and
them.
rescues the snake, and then they're like, they haven't come back. So the husband goes to find her. She's been shot and cooked,
Yeah.
and he finds her cooked.
Oh, my
And they leave the feet in,
God.
so you can
Christ.
tell
Yeah.
So no, it's her.
it's her.
'Cause she's got a
And
hot pair of feet.
Then cries so much that he can't move or see, and then gets shot.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, we were pretty bummed out.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry
It
for
just,
doing
tells
this
you,
to
it
you.
just shows.
It looks-
It goes to show how monstrous the British are, you know?
What was the show that you were referring to?
So, Watership Down, have you ever.
No.
Oh, so it's a movie. It's a movie from.
I'm glad I'm not the only
I
one.
want to say the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's an animated film about rabbits fleeing their warren because their homes are being destroyed by excavators and stuff. But unlike this, and it's just about these rabbits moving, but kind of more than the humans are always sort of there as an ever-present villain in Watership Down, but the movie is more about them fighting with other warrens of rabbits as resources
Ain't that the
become more
truth?
scarce as they need to. So the kind of big villain is this rabbit who's got this really successful warren further afield, but he's a fascist, and
He's
he
not sharing.
wow.
and he leads these patrols of rabbits that bite and scare away any refugee
God.
rabbits trying to come in. And it's this very sort of dark, great movie, but very
Do
dark.
you think this was like the British when they wrote these stories? Do you think they were trying to birth environmental activists?
No, I think they're miserable.
Right.
It's
This is a
agree.
jolly good story, this one.
what it is, I think, is there's obviously the environmental aspect of it, but it also just feels like a more than anything else a nostalgia for like noble like people who had large swaths of lands where they would have a rabbit warren on their land and stuff like that. And now it's industrial, and now people are building homes
There's
that
barely
families
anywhere
can
to
live
hunt
in.
rabbits anymore.
It's less a we should be preserving the environment and more whatever happened to the old England you'd read in Robin Hood, where there were deer in the forest and stuff like that. It doesn't feel particularly like
It's
They're fine with progress. They would just also like to have some more rabbit warrens.
Yeah, it really. We were screaming at the TV this morning, going, "Why?"
it's
Like
so violent,
we were really
So grim.
It's so grim.
Really just hits
and this is,
you.
by the way, why we wanted you guys to go first,
Yeah.
because we
Fair.
were like, it's pretty
We
grim.
can't end on that.
Yeah.
Unless Street Sharks is now all of a sudden more
Yeah, I got
I'll
depressing.
some
tell you
bad
right now,
news.
Street Shark ain't.
Thank God for
Street
that.
Sharks is 30-minute episodes of pure jawsomeness.
Street Shark opens.
Awesome.
Street Shark opens in 1940s Germany. It's one of the
Well, there you go. Do you have any other questions about the Animals of Farthing Wood?
Where do I watch?
That's all on YouTube.
There we go.
Well,
Love that.
so basically, I don't think we've finished, but the whole first episode is them deciding to leave the wood.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Sorry.
Go to this white deer park that
Nature
Frog
preserve.
knows about, or
Yeah.
Toad knows about.
Yeah.
Toad.
So they have to make this journey, basically. And
Yeah,
I think the
they-
whole season is about their journey to this new park.
And them getting
Killed along the
off
way.
one by one. So it's
Yeah.
it's them hearing of the concept of a nature reserve where
Yeah.
animals
That
are
classic.
protected, and they go, okay, we have to get there.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
But it's a long, arduous
And
kind
it's
of.
like a zombie movie. It's like this camp in the north is free of infection
Yes.
because it's frozen over. Like
Precisely,
those
yeah.
movies just they heat the same beats and
I
everything.
asked ChatGPT to summarize it, and it said basically the Animals of Farthing Wood is Game of Thrones with woodland creatures.
Great.
Interesting.
But also The Walking Dead, I think, is probably closer to
It's just all
Lord
that
of the
same-
Rings reminiscent
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, I get that.
It's
yeah.
absolutely
quest.
wild.
Mm.
Well, there
Yeah.
you go. Animals of Farthing Wood, guys. Well
God
done.
damn.
That was
Yeah,
great.
don't watch it.
I enjoyed.
Sorry.
I enjoyed your version so much.
Yeah.
Me
The
too.
animals,
we
the
were
animals
being-
win in our version. We should say at the end of the show's run, humanity has been wiped off the face of the
Yeah,
earth.
that's
Yeah.
great. That's great.
We came in with the complete wrong energy. We should have killed all the animals.
Yeah.
The other
Who would've
thing
thought?
I'll
Who would've
briefly
thought?
say,
Yeah.
it really reminds me of the Studio Ghibli movie Pompoko, which is about raccoons trying to resist the expansion of, but it's like they're the Japanese magical raccoons from like Japanese folklore. So they're trying to use their magical skills of being able to turn into a human and stuff like that to stop it. But it just ends with them going like, we just have to give up. We have to just try and live as humans.
pretty Japanese.
And the end of the movie is then being like, so, sometimes you meet a tired businessman on the train. That's a raccoon. He's turned into a human because you wiped out his location.
Is that Miyazaki?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Miyazaki didn't direct it. It was the other guy who I think did Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh,
that
wow.
dude, yeah.
Oh my
It's a great movie.
God.
Really
Yeah,
good movie, but
right.
it's fucking sad.
Yeah.
Depressing.
Yeah, that is absolutely depressing. Well,
It's a kid's show.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then they just made
Well,
a lot of
back then there wasn't really much of a distinction, but it was just like they made a cartoon based on a book,
Yes.
Yeah.
and then books were even worse. Like,
Yeah.
Have you ever have you seen the musical Oliver? Right? Like,
Yeah.
So I read Oliver Twist, and all of what happens in Oliver is like the first half of the book. There's like a whole other half of the book where he continues to suffer. Like, it's so awful.
And all of the Brothers Grimm stories. Who did The Little Mermaid?
Hans Christian Andersen. Yeah,
all
yeah,
of
yeah.
his stories are fucked up too.
That's it. Yeah.
It's very strange, isn't it? Well, on to something more positive.
Oh, I
Moving
can't
on.
wait for this. So
I'm
I
so
try
excited.
talking about this show so much, and I keep trying. And now that we've got a platform for it,
Oh man, I'm so glad to provide the platform.
this show, I mean, it's. We'll get into it at the end. It's just like, yeah.
You love it, Barry.
I love it.
Have you seen it, Pat?
I'd heard of this show a lot, just baffled by its very existence. I think it was slightly
They're
before my
fine.
time, but I did watch the pilot episode in preparation for this,
Great.
and read a kind of synopsis of where the series goes from there, which I was
Right.
quite
Whoa,
intrigued
you
by.
couldn't even. I just kept watching, my man.
I will say the first episode was a two-parter. I was hooked by the end of the first one. Pun very much intended.
There you go. When I came onto your guys' one, I wrote the opening scene.
Yeah.
I wanted to, because it's Blockblunders, and I love you guys. I wanted to I wanted to raise the bar.
Excellent.
Awesome.
So
And I hope you appreciate that we didn't do anything close to that level of
Oh,
preparation
no.
for our
You
pilot
guys
episode.
did great.
you
We're
killed
good,
it though.
We're good shooting from the hip. That's
But
So impressed.
so what me and Maddie have done is we've actually written and recorded the theme song.
Oh, beautiful.
oh yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you.
Oh, I need to hear this.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah.
so
Oh my gosh.
excited.
And all I'll say, without revealing anything about it, is that I don't know if you'll agree with me, Barry, but the genuine theme song to Street Sharks sounds like two people decided to record it on a whim. So I'm interested to see how this compares.
Perfect.
Look, a lot of this show has the vibe that it was made
It
by
was
about two or three
phoned
people.
in. Let me fucking tell you.
This is the Street Sharks theme song.
According to me and Danny.
This is
Danny and Maddie.
rule.
Here we go.
Four shark friends hunting in the ocean. They swim by magical, mythical creature.
And that creature's kid looked mighty tasty. So they ate its kid. And the creature said,
You ate my kid. Now I banish you to the surface.
Street sharks on the street. Living in government housing.
Doris is there to help them out. Street sharks, sharks on the street. Doris is the social worker, she's gonna sort them out.
That was incredible. Well done. Give yourself the applause sound effect. Give yourself the, there we go. That's it.
Would it surprise you to suggest that might be more effort than they put in?
100%. 100%. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think saying this ahead of your guys' version spoils anything.
No.
You did this style of theme song where it's like, we introduce the characters,
theme.
it tells you the theme. The fucking one they do is just like the word street shark over and over. Like, there's no attempt at
The
trying to...
only bit of dialogue they have other than street sharks is at the start they go, they fight, they bite,
Yeah.
street sharks.
They fight.
And it's just
Right.
street sharks.
Wow. All right. So,
Yeah, well.
okay, so we discussed it a lot and we thought, I think the obvious logical thing
Yeah.
that this show is Ninja Turtles with sharks.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, okay, we
but
thought
that's not what we did. So don't spoil it.
I won't.
So
Yeah.
that is kind of because we thought ensemble, all
Yeah.
of that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But
The
having
animals
said
that
that,
are-
even
yeah.
if it is Ninja Turtles with sharks, they need
What's
to
better?
get a
Yeah,
the journey,
what's better?
and also
Well,
the journey that they go
Well,
on
it's popular.
together.
I'm going to get into this about you after
Yeah.
when it starts talking about the actual show.
But
Okay.
we thought the intro song would be one of those 90s things where they explain their backstory.
Yeah, and I'm very intrigued by what I heard in the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Maddie, do you want to jump in?
So what we thought was that, well, mostly what I thought, was that they were sharks in the ocean, normal sharks.
Yeah.
They come across this magical creature
Ooh.
and that they eat the creature's kid.
Oh, right.
in front of the creature.
Yeah.
I remember from the theme song.
As you'll
Yeah.
recall
Yeah.
from the main song. The creature then turns them into half human, half sharks as a punishment. It's
Yeah.
like, you have to live on the surface now.
Sure.
Banish you. We'd never want to see you again down here.
Yeah.
Maddie said this morning, and I did have a lot of questions, but I went, all right, fuck it, let's go. Because I was like, okay, so they murdered his kid, and then he's like,
And
you
he
will now
banishes
be
them.
social outcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
fair,
that's
fair.
I think that's fair.
that's a fair
That's 4
punishment.
sharks. You can't fight 4 sharks.
No,
so you can
that's
banish
true.
them though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And because they have legs, but they actually, some of them have knee pads on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Say
did see
that
the
guy with
knee
knee
pads.
pads has rollerblades on. We just
see the knee pads.
Oh, sick.
And I'll tell you right now, he doesn't take them off.
Permanent rollerblades. That is a
Yeah, I don't know if that was part of the magical curse or...
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did. Sorry, continue. Or do you want me to?
Yeah. So then we thought, well, they're on the surface. They don't know what to do. They have to then go into government assisted housing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
They
Yeah.
have to have shelter.
The accessibility issues of being a half human, half shark would be
Yeah.
immense. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
Right.
guy complaining about how these shark people are coming in.
They're
They don't have
homeless,
to
and
homing
also
them, yeah.
this mythical creature
homeless.
has kind of like the tragedy that this mythical creature's bestowed upon these sharks' lives is becoming conscious and kind of being born and then
Yeah.
having empathy and thinking about
Oh,
all
damn.
of the things that they murdered and all the things that
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
So
The
they're
bad
very
things.
depressed
Damn.
as well. They're
Yeah.
depressed. They're homeless.
Oh, no.
They have to go into government housing.
Yeah. Well, note that we did think of this after we watched Animals of Farthing Wood. So
Yes, I was going to say,
got a
it
sad
was feeling
ending.
we're in a certain headspace.
I'm also interested by how vague the term mythical creature is.
Yeah.
Is this like a sea witch like Ursula, or is it just like a sea sponge? Like
We
Could be
did.
a sponge.
It's a magical floating tendril in
I
the
know
ocean.
whatever it is, it has to be capable of having kids.
Yes.
It's multiple.
What would you say the
I
mythical
was
creature
picturing
is?
a seahorse.
Oh, I was
Oh, I like that because then it's like the dad.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, there you
He's
go.
exploded
There you
out
go.
his stomach.
I was picturing more. Did you guys play Banjo-Tooie?
yeah.
Do you know in Jolly Roger's cabin where you have to go and fight?
It's gonna be like a hermit crab-esque thing, like a.
Well, that was in the
Yeah,
Shell.
no. It's like more a jellyfish.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jolly Roger's Lagoon enemy. Hang on.
Gosh.
It's
Jellyfish
like
do have a mythical vibe, but I think we've already landed on seahorse.
And
Yeah.
so,
I feel like someone
That's
said
what I was
seahorse
picturing.
before.
That's what I was picturing. Sorry.
like an anemone.
Yes.
Yeah.
like what
yeah.
Nemo swims in.
And
Yeah.
so presumably in the style of Banjo, it's talking to the street sharks like boop boop boop
Yeah.
boop 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 boop
Yes,
boop.
100%.
Yeah, got it.
So the mythical creature does that. Now, then
Which is a
they get
seahorse,
up.
actually. Let me
It's
just go
sorry,
back.
seahorse.
Yeah, sorry.
We got sidetracked,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I want to be clear.
Yeah.
Not
Maddie
get
already had
sidetracked.
a vision in mind, and it wasn't that.
It was a seahorse. I
Yeah.
need you to sign off on seahorse. before we go any further.
I need you to just clock in there.
So then along comes Doris,
Doris.
is
Yeah.
their social worker.
Yeah.
who we actually decided is Aussie.
Oh,
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
some Aussie representation.
And
Yeah.
she has a lot of empathy for the sharks.
Yeah.
And we kind of kept coming back to Doris's character. Like, even them being half human, half shark, it doesn't even faze her.
No.
Yeah.
When she meets them, she's like, you're
She's
working
not
this job
shocked.
long enough. You've seen everything.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you've seen. No, I've seen it all.
Yeah.
I would never half human, full human with a bit of shark parts.
Yes.
So, right?
And-
All I see are a bunch of humans.
We realize as well the reason why Doris is so empathetic to these sharks is because she had a really rough life and she used to be addicted to meth, and
Yeah.
it's never talked about because it's a kids show.
Yeah.
And she ran over and killed a mother and child
Yeah.
while she
You
was
were
high
really
on
in a
meth.
dark place. This character has
Are you sure they never mentioned that in the show? Are you sure they don't have?
This character has a gap in their teeth, and that's the only sign of the crack pipe that once.
So she's never gonna give up on them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what do we think?
This has a lot of heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Doris is a big part of like, no, come on. Don't like maybe the sharks are suicidal.
Well, I
you know.
think they're worried about scaring people because of their appearance.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Doris's boss is like, get rid of those sharks, put them down, put them back in the ocean.
Yeah.
Who's Doris's boss?
Go name.
Gerald.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Gerald.
I knew it.
Gerald.
I knew if I just gave you the ball, you'd give me one.
Gerald, yeah.
Gerald. Yeah,
And
so Gerald.
he is, because they're on the streets of Chicago.
Yeah.
I never put together like street shark, like homeless shark. Is that what you try and going
Kind
for?
of, yeah.
Neither did we, but
Yeah.
no, neither did I. Maybe Maddie did,
Yeah.
but now I'm saying that.
So
yeah.
yeah,
she was
well, I
there.
was picturing this kind of Bostonian, like,
Yeah.
yes,
yeah.
and then maybe that's
I'm a
Gerald.
shack.
Yeah.
Shack, like Jaws.
Jaws, yeah.
You're a fucking shack.
Fucking
Are you a
shack.
fucking shack? This son of a bitch is a
I got
shack.
a wicked jaw.
I'm
I'm a
not a
wicked-
shark.
I'm a wicked shack.
We killed that kid. I can't do that. No, I can't do the accent. That's horrible. I'm normally great at accents. I should have just said nothing. So, but also, the whole sort of arc of the show is them wanting to kind of help out the
Integrating into
community.
human.
Yeah, and
I
being like, we
it,
need
yeah.
to kind of
Give back to the
give
community.
back, and we need to just accept what we've done.
Yeah.
Like, we've done this
Yeah.
horrible thing. We've killed a lot of things. That's not us anymore.
Yeah.
Similar to the sharks
Like
in
in
Finding
Nemo.
Nemo.
Yes. We're
Uh,
good sharks now.
Yeah. And then I sort of pictured them sort of reverting into an A-team type group where
Yeah.
they're not cops, but they are like a vigilante
Vigilantes,
group.
yeah.
They're the Soldiers of Fortune or whatever.
Yeah.
So I got the little motorbike and
Yeah.
the rollerblades now that we know
I like
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also had we obviously had the different personalities, and like when you look at the poster, it's pretty obvious that they're all like, but we were like, there's one that's like, oh, gentlemen, what is
Now-
yes, if we must.
Can I ask, because I've got an image in my mind, seeing the four sharks, which one of them is this?
Yeah, I'm so glad you
English
asked
one?
that. I'm so glad you asked that because we decided it
Yeah.
was
They are
bottom.
all jacked.
It was
It's the brown one.
The brown one.
And then,
Okay.
yeah, and they're,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
they're so jacked.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
they-
I agree, because that's like spectacles.
Yes.
Like that's,
Yeah, 100%.
The weird
Yeah.
hammerhead eyes. Yeah.
Maybe they live together, but maybe they're just they live next door,
or
to
in the
each
same
other.
apartment building, or
Yes.
like they've
Ah,
all
yeah,
kind
nice.
of got appointed things,
And they're just mates, right?
yeah.
They're
And
brothers.
the first thing they have to do is like apply for jobs, like for Centrelink. They've got to
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
fill out their forms, but
fill out forms, yeah.
they also help their neighbors with things like painting the walls.
Yeah, nice.
Taking up the
Kind of like My Name is Earl. Do you guys yeah.
Yeah.
I like
It
that.
is very like my name is.
Yeah.
Do we have any other further comments or ideas about street sharks? Do you have any questions?
Well,
about-
my
Yeah.
question is, a show like this, even one that's just about sort of community building,
Yes.
usually will have a kind of villain. Now,
Yes.
is Gerald our villain? or is there a
That's
broader?
a really good question.
You know,
do we see Gerald as the
who's
villain?
the villain?
I feel like there is. I feel like other villains come along, and I do think.
Oh, it's a villain of the week thing, a different neighbor each week that they have to win over.
Yeah,
sorta.
well, I think Gerald is the whole thing, and I think I'm actually gonna do a crossover right now, and I'm gonna say that the construction company from your Farthing Wood
Yes. This is like
wants to knock this government housing down.
that's huge. That's like when they try to put the bad guys from Blade Runner into being the bad guys in Alien, like the same evil company. You know, that kind
I
of
didn't
stuff.
know that. Is
I
that-
think they tried to do it and it didn't because one of them's the Tyrell, one of them's Wayland Yutani, and get mixed up. Anyways,
Wow. There you go.
yeah, I like that. That's
Yeah. So any other further any comment? Barry is locked and loaded.
is
He's ready. He's got
waiting for
Wikipedia up.
I'm trying to find if there is a character called Gerald. If I'm honest.
no, you guys went cast list agnostic, right?
yeah,
You did not
We
Wow.
use the
didn't
cast
go
list.
cast list
Yeah.
because that led me astray
Yeah.
in my Blockblunders app.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
It's a trap. It is a trap.
Yeah, I thought I
be.
came in basing the entire thing off the cast list, so I was like, let's not even look at the cast
Let's be
list.
fair. You actually based your entire thing off of a joke that a comedian does.
Yeah, that's true. A Jack Wright punchline.
That's true. Jack Wright
Yeah.
fucked me over with that. Yeah. Yes, he did. Yeah.
Well, I'll throw it to, I suppose, Barry,
Yeah,
you'd give the
the
best
shark
explanation of the but I just say it's important to keep in mind, and I'm sure Barry's with me on this, this show sucks.
Oh, really?
No, disagree. I disagree.
You didn't like it? You didn't like it?
I didn't know. I liked it.
Right.
But everything about this show is just, we can do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
really
and the
bad.
conclusion they reached is, no, you can't.
It is so bad that it's funny.
Wow.
And there is actually literally a scene in the second episode that you wouldn't have seen where they get asked, they're like, do you guys want some pizza? And they all go, oh, yeah,
Yeah,
pizza.
it's
No,
a gag that they don't like pizza.
Yeah.
Wow.
We want burgers and fries.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so transparent.
I will say, and like Barry said, sorry, I forgot to mention this before.
Yeah.
You said to me when we were deciding what show to do,
Yeah.
you were like, yeah, I think it's one of those shows where a lot of kids had the toys but
Yes.
didn't even watch the show. And I realized that was me.
Yeah,
It might have been
yeah.
my brother's toy.
Because the toy, like, I mean, the street sharks themselves, they look like what you would buy a toy. They
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
they are
I'm pretty
jacked.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
pretty
cool.
sure I had one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go
Yeah.
on, Barry. Sorry.
So yes, it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle type, but of course it's got a different spin where a mad scientist working with a gene splitting center wants to create fish human hybrids, specifically aquatic animals for some reason.
Right.
And it's the funniest thing. It's that classic thing where the main scientist doing the work is this very studious professor-looking guy. Looks like a nice dude. I think he's the dad of the
Yes, he's
four
the
street
dad.
sharks are all brothers,
They're
by the way.
brothers.
They're all
They
human
are
brothers.
brothers.
Yes. We did wonder if they were related. Yeah.
they all
and-
have really unique personalities that are somehow also all the same.
Yeah. Anyway, so this guy, he's got like a normal name, Dr. something, I can't remember what it is. Anyway, his partner in this project is a jacked bald guy with an eye patch.
Oh, wow.
Called Dr. Paradigm. Like that guy is going to be evil.
All right.
Don't partner with that guy.
I'm pulling up Dr. Paradigm.
Dr. Paradigm's, he's like, you can't stop my research now. He injects a couple of a couple of guys and turns them into his goons.
He injects the animals. He injects a lobster and a
That's
swordfish
right. Yes,
Oh.
with the human DNA, and they sort of
Genghis
become.
Khan and another general in history.
So they sort of become they're like
They're the henchmen.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Of course
he's
he's
ripped.
evil.
So there's a
And-
lobster and a like a swordfish, but he has a drill nose in
Yeah.
this one because why not?
And they sort of become his Bebop and Rocksteady. Like they're
Right.
his, you know.
Yes, sure.
He then also injects the father, and the father disappears. We don't know when he goes.
Right.
Then the brothers. Then he captures the brothers. Now the brothers all have really unique personalities in that they all have different forms of transportation. They are otherwise the same guy.
Yeah.
They are all jacked.
Yeah.
Frat boys in varying degrees of like age. So one is older. He rides a motorcycle. The second oldest is like a rollerblader.
Yeah.
And then and that's the one that the shark, he never takes off his rollerblades.
Yeah.
The third one is like a college football player who starts, his introduction is that he just runs into a goalpost and breaks it. And the brother, when he answers the phone, he's like, "You breaking more goalposts?" As if he's seen what has happened.
This is a reoccurring event. Is the breaking of the goalpost.
The youngest son is like still in bed chilling.
Yeah, he's like the chill Michelangelo type.
Yes, he's the chill
But
Michelangelo type.
When they show up at the being like, this is where we were
They
told
get
to
told
meet
to
Dad.
meet Dad, yeah,
He
and
shows
it's a
up in a
race.
jetpack.
Yeah,
And there seems to be no explanation as to how he has a jetpack.
He's the smartest of them. They're all
no,
genius inventors.
No, the main one,
Yeah,
the lead
yeah.
one is the scientist.
But no, they all are.
Yeah, see, this is there's nothing
What do you mean?
delineating these. The Teenage Mutant Ninja
They were
Turtles.
brought up by
say
their
what
dad
you
who was a
will.
genius.
They have cleared. You've got the leader. You've
Yeah.
got the tech
Oh,
guy.
it's great.
You've got
It's
the
great.
violent one. You've
Yeah.
got the chill one. This is like the leader, the one who's rollerblading.
Yeah.
the big one, but
Big
they're all
one.
big.
They're all big. They all have the
and
same
the
amount of
chill
strength.
jetpack
Oh my
one.
God.
And so
Wow.
then they get pulled in and they
Yeah.
get turned in against their will into these street sharks. And they kind of dispose of the bodies because it doesn't work, but then they start turning into sharks. The first thing they do when they turn into sharks is immediately try to eat hot dogs.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
they don't have enough hot dogs to feed them, so they start eating the metal and they immediately start making up catchphrases. So Jawsome comes out straight away.
Awesome is good.
They start terrorizing the city, trying to get away from the military or something. And there's the whole thing is set in like a much grittier. There's all these jokes about the ozone
The
being too
city
thick.
is so polluted,
Yeah.
and they keep talking about it, but the sharks never help with that.
No, the sharks.
Right.
No,
It's
that's not
just
their
a
job.
theme.
It's just a thing.
Yeah.
Is that ever brought back over the
I mean,
show?
you would have a better
Probably,
idea.
yeah. I don't
I
remember
don't know.
exactly. I don't think it's actually that important. It's
because-
just to tell you that the city's dirty.
It's just a generic city.
And
we
so,
don't
yeah,
know.
it's like it's like big city kind of.
It's
smog.
called. I think it's called like shark.
Oh,
like
it's called
maybe,
like Fishville or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
called like Fish City or
Fishville.
something.
That's great.
It's really dumb.
And the sign keeps breaking every time you look at it, so it's like less and less letters.
Yeah.
So the guy in the sky in the helicopter calls them street sharks. And they go, street sharks. I like that.
See, this is
They
what
all
I'm
talk like
confused
that.
about.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
something I couldn't determine. Is street shark a phrase?
No.
Is that
No.
like I was trying to figure out if
I
it was
don't
a
think
slang
so.
term for like a hoon driver or something.
hool-
They
Hooligan.
really
Like-
needed
That's
to
a great
separate
question.
themselves from
Yeah,
Teenage Mutant
but they
Ninja Turtles.
keep. But this is what I mean is that
Yeah.
it keeps coming up in the pilot episode
Yeah.
where someone will use the phrase "street sharks" like.
No, see, because then what you didn't see is in the second episode, they
Yeah.
call them something else, and they go, "What? We're not that. We're the street
Yeah,
sharks."
like at one point they show up at a carnival and they've got their human friend who's still
Oh
human.
yeah, the human friend
And-
is cool as hell.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's like he's sort of like. Do you guys ever watch the Goofy movie?
Yeah.
You know the Max's friend who's like played by Pauly Shore, who's like the spray.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Just doing Pauly Shore stuff. I guess
Yes.
that's what this dude is like.
Yes.
But anyways, they show up at a carnival.
Yeah.
And a kid is like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" Like, because he thinks they're in costume or whatever.
Yeah.
And the
yeah.
friend goes like, "Yeah, they're here because we're setting up a new ride
Called the Street Sharks.
with the street sharks. Like that's a thing."
Yeah.
And I was so
Yeah.
good. I'm like, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah,
What
well,
the fuck
that's
are you
because you're
talking
hearing
about?
it right now.
Yeah.
What I will say is that was a big point of tension in our discussion was
Yeah.
were they sharks that turned to humans? Because you originally thought humans that turned to sharks, and I was like, there's no way they'd do that.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
yeah. They,
I was
do,
like,
they do
there's
it to
no
four
way they
brothers.
do
what
it.
they
They
did.
did.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
I thought they might have been underwater, like an Atlantis type.
Yeah.
So they also,
yes, that was the biggest argument. Was she was like, "Are they underwater?" I'm like, "It's called street
Yeah, no,
sharks."
they're definitely not. They also travel through the roads like sharks and break the roads up.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
what?
then the really cool dude is like,
But they have feet.
yeah, but they also have fins.
They
dude.
have
And they also
gills.
do a lot of jokes about slapping fins.
Wow.
In the second episode, they get given specified vehicles that are made for them as street sharks that this human guy has made within 30 minutes,
Wow.
seemingly. Like, he's
Yeah.
had it ready to go. Like, he
This
unveils
is okay.
Like
the
a
street
car.
shark cars and the, yeah.
Putting okay.
Give me the keys.
What
Yeah,
I'm
it's all that sort of
hearing,
stuff.
what I'm hearing, honestly, is
Jawsome, right?
It is awesome.
including the catchphrases.
Yeah.
All I'm hearing is some network executive
we need a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
We need catchphrases.
Yes,
Yeah.
We
definitely.
need vehicles that they can sell. I want all of that in the first fucking episode.
Yeah, yeah.
It's everything of that.
It is
Yeah.
the dumbest. Like, it's so interesting.
Careful what you say.
Barry's favorite show.
What I mean is it is interesting looking even now studio and network executives making these money-based decisions that are just so off the mark. And I don't understand how you can work in that position. Now I'm getting all political, but I don't understand how you can work in a position like that for so long and not realize that, hey man, all of those memorable moments come organically. You can't force. I mean, look, there's sometimes in history Transformers were toys first and were written.
That happened a
They
lot.
were written by toys.
It used to happen a lot.
The whole plot was written by a toy company. But it's crazy that they think like, I guess so low of their audience that they're like, yeah, they'll eat this up.
It's mostly like toy companies that lead the chart. Like
definitely.
So like we have an idea for a toy, and they're called the Street Sharks.
We've
they're going
talked
to be the
about
next
this
Teenage
before.
Mutant
We've
Ninja
talked about
Turtles
this before.
thing.
The other thing I have to add when you said eat them up is a part of this fucking show is since their main thing is just biting into shit all the time, the amount of fucking voice acting you have of people going it is relentless. I swear if this 22-minute runtime there was like including half of the episode where they're not even sharks yet, at least fucking 12 minutes of it was just people going it is fucking relentless.
They have like
4 sharks all doing it at the same time. It's like the worst ASMR.
They have like a weird tick where when they get mad, they eat the thing. So like the TV says, like in the second episode, the TV literally goes, and the person responsible for turning their children into crazy shark man is this doctor. They're blaming the dad. And they all go, that's not true. Lies. And they grab the TV. And the guy's like, that's my TV.
Wow. So there's a lot. It sounds like there's a lot of filler in this show.
I don't know. I think all of that is really important.
I don't know.
I think it's essential to the
I don't
plot.
know what's not filler. The other thing is, at the end of the Dr. Paradigm accidentally turns himself into a piranha. He injects piranha DNA into him.
Oh, wow.
So because they start calling him Dr. Paranoid, but his name was already Dr. Paradigm. Like he already had a evil villain name. That they're just putting a hat on a hat.
But you didn't get the paranoid as in paranoid. Like, come on,
paranoid.
like,
Yeah,
it's a great
exactly.
pun.
So why wasn't his name Dr. Paranoid before?
No,
Like, you know
no,
what I
that
mean?
wouldn't- 'cause that would
Why
ruin
was his
the-
name Dr.
That would
Paranoid?
ruin the pun later.
Barry is defending this show.
Yeah. I can defend
this
till
show all
ends
day.
out.
Yeah.
This show is brilliant.
Was it, you
there's
watched
also-
this as a kid?
Yeah.
You loved it.
Well, yeah. Look, it made me laugh so much.
No.
Yeah.
And
Even
I
as a
don't-
kid?
Yeah.
I
because
definitely
think
recommend watching it.
I
I
think
definitely
like-
recommend
We'll have
watching
to
it.
I think
Yeah.
even as a kid, I was like, what is this?
Wow.
This is forming like my humor. Like everything about it was so poorly done. And like, like they're just blatant catchphrases just getting thrown out there. And some stick and some don't. And the character that's always rollerblading is just like, we're talking like he gets tied up. They get tied up in court and bound. He's got rollerblades on. Like they don't take him off for him. They're part of him.
Beleaguered writers writing down everything they know about sharks to try and work into jokes.
Really?
Already in the first episode, they go like, "Hey, stop moving around in there."
That was actually. It's so funny you say that because that was. I think what's so different. We were discussing Ninja Turtles and sharks this morning, and we were discussing the different characteristics. And I was like, I don't know if they'd lean that much into it because in the Ninja Turtles.
They're just like heroes.
Yeah, the turtle part doesn't come into it.
The turtle part doesn't come into it at all.
Yeah.
I was literally.
He's like,
I think
they don't move slow.
Yeah,
they don't eat grass.
Yeah, I was like, it's more just like a skin for them. Like they're not. Yeah, they don't.
Do you know why the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are turtles?
Why?
Because it's a parody of Daredevil. Daredevil, when he was hit by the truck that spilled the chemicals on him, was carrying his pet turtles or whatever, and so they're meant to be the turtles that he was carrying. Which is also why, the Foot Clan in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
The Daredevil villains are the Hand Clan, so it's meant to be a pun on.
Oh my
It's the
god!
foot, so that's why they're
Is
turtles.
Daredevil DC?
No, it's Marvel.
No, he's Marvel.
Oh, right, yeah. Because Ninja Turtles is Warner Brothers, so it's...
Yeah.
Obviously, they're making
But
fun
so,
of it. Wow.
do they fight crime?
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
No, it's mostly no,
What
it's
do
not.
they do?
They're trying to vindicate their father and fight this evil scientist, and
Yeah.
most of their battles are between the Genghis Khan lobster and the swordfish drilling into things.
man.
So is there part of the show? I mean, we're going to obviously, this is our afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
no, you'll
but,
love it.
Is part of it, is there part of like the Ninja Turtles, them just dicking around and just like.
Yeah, there's
Yes, but
definitely
I
a lot
will
of
say
that.
the pacing of this show is much worse in that, it skips, it'll scene change to a part way later.
Yeah.
As if all of that, we
That's
had some other
happened.
scene happen and now we'll get you to the point. It just jumps through the show
Okay.
really quickly. So they're hanging around is like, whoa, we're back at the house. Look, I got a car for you guys. Oh, give us the keys.
Yeah.
Something,
Wow.
and then they go.
Just bizarre. There's also this whole subplot with their fucking dad's watch. So when the dad,
What,
dad,
Well, that's how they know.
Yeah.
That's the
when
pacing
the,
is
when the
awesome.
dad arrives at the laboratory, we see his watch. That's this big
It's
space
important.
age watch. The
Yeah.
camera fucking zooms in on it. Then when the Dr. Paranoid kills
He's
him, or
wearing
turns
the watch
into
the
a shark.
next day.
Yeah.
The doctor's missing.
He's like, I love that
I
watch.
love that watch.
And then when he's trying to convince the sons, oh, just come with me, your dad's just here. They're like, hey, you're
That's
wearing
my dad's
his
watch. And they're all jacked as well, by the way. They're all
Yeah.
jacked frat dudes. So they grab this guy and he's jacked too. So they're like,
Yeah.
there's lots of jacked
gives
dudes
a
in this.
shit. It's like,
Yeah.
why? Who cares about this fucking watch?
It's their father's watch,
And he's
dude.
trying to be like, your dad gave it to me. And they're like, no, he
No
didn't.
way. Mum
Our
gave him
mum
that
gave him
watch."
that watch. And it's just like, why is this the way that they need to find out he's evil? He looks evil.
I am just curious, Pat, did you have a guilty pleasure equivalent of Street Sharks as a kid? That you were like...
Oh, I'm sure if I revisited any show that I watched as a kid, it would fucking suck.
I'm
Like,
surprised you don't know this show. This feels up your alley in terms
no,
of
I would
stupid-
have. No, I don't know. I'm trying to think back to cartoons and stuff that I watched as a kid, but it's like, yeah, the ones I remember were stuff like Teen Titans and stuff like that, which were fine. You know,
Yeah.
they were a fine show. There's
Yeah.
nothing,
Teen Titans.
nothing ridiculously shitty
Love
about
Teen
it.
Titans.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I think just
it's actually a good show.
I just think that like the shows that I was watching that were being made in the 2000s, you know, I'm sure we're not great, but it had sort of gotten past that period of really transparent, shitty cash
Yeah.
grab
Yeah.
cartoons
Yeah.
where they were just churning them out.
Yeah.
And this thing was more like, let's just try and rip off anime was the kind of
Yeah.
movement when
Sure.
I was
Yeah.
a kid of like, let's do Teen Titans, let's do all these things that just try to rip off.
Yeah.
We almost did Samurai Jack. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
and stuff
also
like
would've been
that.
cool,
Well, like Gendy Tartakovsky or whatever his name is, shows that were like not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty good. SpongeBob and shit like that. Where it's like
Yeah.
that's it's
Yeah.
a kid show, but it's fun. It's well.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
SpongeBob.
Why? Yeah, I think I've got kids shows that I think still hold up, and I still
Yeah.
look at and I'm like, that was amazing. That was
Dragon
great.
Ball Z.
Yeah. Hey, were you either of you guys Dragon
Yeah, I
Ball?
was a big Dragon Ball Z guy.
Yeah.
And so
And
the-
Vegeta plays a lot in our episodes. Vegeta is a huge
Yeah.
character in our podcast.
Right. Yeah, we discussed it last week. And
Yeah.
it's What were you gonna say?
I was going to say that Vegeta shows up in Street Sharks.
Oh,
Street Sharks are no match for a Saiyan warrior.
And then they just eat it from all four
You know the
directions.
thing about the Dragon Ball Z voice actors, they would like almost faint because of how much they had to scream.
Yeah.
These guys they all had to go jaw surgery for the amount of time they just go.
and because they made their jaws look like massive,
Yeah, exactly.
massive jaws.
Jawsome. My fucking
Oh,
God.
so
All the
jawsome.
jawsome. The jawsome is a consistent catchphrase.
I do
It's
like
great.
jawsome.
Yeah, same.
well, guys,
Guys, this has been jawsome.
I was gonna say this
Thanks
has
so
been
much.
absolutely awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for coming.
For coming
for
on.
having
So much
us.
fun.
We should definitely plug Blockblunders.
Yes, please
Yes.
listen to Blockblunders.
Yeah, you can.
All one word.
Yes.
Yeah, one word. Join the Discord. We have a Discord. You can follow us on Instagram. You can email us at blah,
Go
blah, blah.
rate them 5 stars.
Yeah, please.
I
Yeah, we
stole
need
that off you after I
You
did
need
your
to tell.
episode.
It's a great way to spread the.
I had
spread
no
the word.
idea. Yeah.
It helps a lot, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
it's
good. Okay,
strange.
there you go,
Oh,
guys.
good.
You heard it from the masters.
All 50 of our reviews.
That's Good.
Yeah. We begged.
Yeah, well, we need to do that.
We do, yeah. 100 episodes. It's a fucking great podcast,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah,
It really
so
is.
funny,
It's
guys.
so
Thank you so
funny
much.
and it's so great.
You
and
guys are great.
We'll have to get you guys back on.
Yeah, I
for a
can't
Oh, we'd
different
love to
thing.
come back on.
Yeah,
I love,
yeah.
like, this is like one of my favorite things to do is just reminisce about crazy 90s.
Yeah, we'll get you on for a remember that episode.
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
wanted to play the Blockblunders.
so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting
Awesome.
me fulfill my dream.
No, you're going to come onto the pod.
Oh my God, yes, anytime.
All right. Well, to sign off, we tell our audience we say one thing.
Yes, we say good night, kids.
We say good night, kids, and you guys are welcome to join us. So, Maddie, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, thanks for listening. Good night, kids.
Good night, kids.
Good night, kids.
It got
It got-
more.
yeah.
Okay. Good night, kids.
Oh, now they're awake again.